Hey everyone, welcome back. As always, I'm Sum.
And I'm Koaty, and this is Koaty Sum, and we are the duo who does more than each other.
We are back with another recap of House of Heat. This week we got episode 8. As always in House of Heat fashion, cheers with a White Claw. We're back to peach flavored. How'd you feel about episode 8? We got a bunch of things happening for us in this episode.
We have our YouTube, we have our dick molding experience, and then our pool party.
Are you happy with how the YouTube came out?
Yeah, it's sad. You know, we were missing Steph. She might have been in Pittsburgh with her daughter. Kazumi was there, but they cut her portion out. Might have just been a timing thing.
But that's why you got to watch the actual video on our YouTube channel, the full length of the day we had, which was fun. Ava and Vinny made a blowjob shot. Brandon's was a B93. Jade's was a mess.
A margarita mess. Messy margarita. So it was a really fun day. It was a very stressful day for you and I. We didn't get to see the space before we recorded in it. Our battery of our camera was running low. Brandon and Ava and Vinny were the top two, and they didn't really show that. So they had to make a shot. Like they had like a minute to make a shot. They couldn't look anything up. So they both made a shot.
Little tiebreaker round.
Yeah, and Ava and Vinny couldn't do a blowjob shot again. They had to come up with something else. Ava and Vinny, I think, lost because they just literally fought that whole minute or two.
Which you'll see in the actual edit
Actually, I
of the
think they
YouTube
made
video.
2 separate shots.
They did, and they're just yelling at each other the whole time,
Yeah.
like telling each other to F off. It was really funny.
But Brandon's drink was way better than everyone else's. So, you know, it was a pretty obvious choice anyway.
Did you like being a judge?
I did like being a judge.
I liked being a host.
It was really cool that we had Mike there, who like is like a full-time bartender. Like he got into reality TV because he was a bartender.
He was actually hungover, which you'll see in the actual YouTube. It was that day was actually the day after a holiday, and he's a bartender, so he had a big night the night before at the bar he worked at, and I guess he got really drunk while he was there, so he showed up to this gig with us very hungover. So getting to drink more, I think, was best for him.
Aris is not a bartender, but she does do like YouTubes and clips where she judges how models walk. We did put time in it prior, planning it and trying to figure out exactly what we were doing.
Yeah, it was a few weeks of planning.
Yeah, but when you're in it, that's the first YouTube that we have made ever that was like highly produced.
And had more than one guest.
Rented a space, had other guests, had like a whole theme. You know, a lot of times it's just us sitting here talking, or we vlog a trip. The idea of it, I was like, oh wow, this is so fun. We should do this more. But I was like, it was like high stress that like hour that we were running around because you have to get everyone moving.
We had our setup, and then you had the behind the scenes setup of the show. It was the show within a show.
Yeah.
So that's what made it stressful. If we didn't have the show, it still would have been high stakes, you know, more moving part. I still would love to do it again. It was a chance for the cast to come show their personalities. And then we went and got our dicks molded, which you saw. We had a meeting. This is something we had wanted to do for a while. We wanted to celebrate our 5 years of being together and our 5 years of being on OF and being adult content creators. So something we did that they didn't show was we went and got tattoos. And I have the latitude and longitude of where Koaty and I met.
You have the latitude. I have the longitude.
Yeah, I meant like I had that saved somewhere because I
Yeah.
put it on a bracelet for one of our other anniversaries, and we decided let's just get it on us. So wait, I have the latitude.
Yeah, I have longitude. You have latitude.
He wanted me to have because I had one more number, so you know more pain for me.
The girl doing them was like, well, why don't one of you each get one? And I was like, toy. I didn't think of that.
And so in the midst of that conversation, we're like, well, what can we do to celebrate everything and being, you know, on OF? What's our next business venture? And we decided let's do this. We weren't sure if we wanted to have them sell it for us or if we wanted to buy them at cost and sell them on our own because the markup's a lot better and we're in control of everything at that point, distribution and whatnot, and not having to have, you know, someone as a middleman. Where we're at in the process is the molds are almost done. Because this was only a few months ago. It does take a few months to get it all finished up. And
they look so real.
Yeah, they look really, we got to see like kind of through the process when they were halfway done, and now they're almost done, and we're working through just like how many do we want to get and whatnot. So we don't have them yet. The process is moving along. We're just going to do the dildos, and then we're going to do the DP version of the dildos. I think that's the best route to start with.
Yeah, and then we'll come back later, hopefully, and be able to get those done one day.
Yeah, I mean, every, you know, fleshlight is kind of the same.
Yeah, not mine. If you notice, the woman who molded my ass said it was very nice. So
it is.
That is like on TV now. confirmation.
It's on TV. It's on TV.
The last thing of the show, well, kind of what starts everything, is this pool party that we have. We invited friends. All the cast members were allowed to invite friends. We kind of had a little more because we're from LA. The pool party was really fun. I remember drinking a lot. Even when they were interviewing me on the show about stuff that happened there, I was like, I honestly cannot tell you because I don't really remember.
You had a great time.
I did.
You had a great time that day. I mean, we were all having a good time, but I remember specifically you were having a great day. We weren't involved in this photo shoot that you see happen, but you do talk about one thing I did want to point out real quick is they do in the episode, they're like, oh, they interview me. And I'm like, oh, I flew my best friend out here from New York. And they flash over to me talking to a friend who's just in the industry, but that's not the best friend that I flew out. His name is JJ Knight, and he's had his stuff molded by Doc Johnson, so we were catching up on that. But the
guy that you showed my ass molding to, that's JJ Knight.
That's JJ Knight.
He's a friend, but he's not a best friend.
He's not my best friend that I flew from New York, but my best friend is actually he's my cousin. Our moms are sisters, but we don't look alike because his dad is black, so he's half black. But if you watch the episode of that scene when Brandon's doing the shot, you could see his face in the background. He makes the funniest faces. He was going like this during the shot.
Yeah.
And then you just see him goofing off or whatever. You see him hanging out with us, but I just wanted to point that out because I love Daniel and I'm so happy he came out to the pool party, and I wanted to, just let that be known. Who my actual best
honestly,
friend
is. when Brandon had his little spurt about how he didn't like our friends or they weren't welcoming, then the next person they flash to is Daniel, your best friend,
making a face.
And Daniel and Brandon actually talked a lot and liked each other, so it just was very out of context.
I'm curious. I mean, we'll see in the next episode who he was referring to, because I was a little curious at this point when this all came to light because I had a great day. Sorry that Brandon felt that way about some people.
He definitely didn't tell me.
He didn't say anything.
Day of the party, I had no idea.
Yeah, as you can see that day, he didn't say anything. So we all left thinking everyone's friends and everyone got along. So there was a photo shoot,
which we didn't know was going on either. All the girls went up to the hotel room to collab.
So since we weren't that involved in it, we decided to have a special guest come on to the show today, the episode. So we want to introduce the one and only Steph Me. We were just talking about, that we got our penises molded in this last episode. And I did have, what they didn't show, we didn't talk about this, what they didn't show in the episode was that whole house was like, so are you going to use your own penis on yourself? And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I want to know?
I want to know what all the fuss is about.
Yeah.
That is like the definition and the most literal example of self-love.
So we got Steph Me here to kind of highlight the pool party because the photo shoot was not something we were a part of or invited to. You had your Instagram going down, which was that affects a lot of that for you.
So how it works when I use my Instagram, I do a lot of things on Instagram. I have contacts on Instagram. You would never guess that you would have contacts on Instagram. And I didn't think it was a big deal at the time when it first happened. I lose my account. Some hacker person basically wants money. They figure out a way to shut down. They want to be paid to get it back for you, right?
Which they're the ones shutting it down. This happened to me as well.
Too, right before filming, actually.
But you have hundreds of thousands of followers. So
yeah, and I didn't realize I had brand collabs, I had regular collabs, and I pushed my OnlyFans through Instagram. Mostly Instagram. Everything else is kind of not as much as a push, right? And when it shut down during the show, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do because I was so helpful up until that point. I was like, fuck, this was I feel so useless. So I did start calling people, texting people, brands and stuff to kind of help, to bring us merch or do collabs, and they just weren't interested as much because I didn't have my Instagram. They're like, well, we got to wait till your Instagram comes back. And I'm like, so I do have their contacts, but it didn't matter because I didn't have Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I push it really heavily on my OnlyFans, and I'm just like, that was the least amount of money I ever made on OnlyFans was when I lost my Instagram during the show. So I was like, this is fucked up. I'm supposed to be making money and rising to the top right now, and I'm just not doing anything,
Yeah.
It was stressful. It was really, really stressful because there's just a lot of variables happening, and then that happens. I'm like, someone's punking me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just lost our Twitter a few days ago, and it was gone for like 3 or 4 days, and I was already panicking.
Yeah.
It makes you so stressed. Like you know, people make these jokes like, what are you going to do if this shuts down? What are you going to do if that shuts down? And I always make the joke, I'm like, well, like, what are you going to do when your job shuts down? Yeah. But I started like working, you know, like doing other shit than just, you know, I started up a new Instagram account. I started creating more TikToks. I started doing other things. So I was like, I know how to do this. It was just unmotivating to put in more work than I
feel
need
a little
to be.
defeated.
Yeah, so defeated. I know that I can make money other ways. I just couldn't just twist my mind into getting back into the groove of things because of how distraught I was over Instagram.
Yeah.
So what was kind of the thought process behind setting up this photo shoot?
So I didn't set up the photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that behind the scenes, people were like, okay, well, there's a photographer here. Steph, can you guys go to a room that's above the pool and do something, a collab, something? I'm like, sure. I mean, I don't have Instagram, so, but whatever. I'm willing to help. You guys know, I just like to help. I was like, what am I going to do with this fucking content? But I didn't think that way. I was just like, hey, if they want photos from Steve, let's get it. If they want to do a big group collab, let's do it. If they want to do one-on-one, if they want to do whatever, Steve was like, yeah, I'm down. Like, let's do it. Like, whatever. Yeah. So everyone looked like they were having a good time. I was like, great, let's bring the party upstairs with the girls, you know? Like, so yeah, everyone having a good time. Let's go up, let's do this. Like, you know, I was asked behind the scenes.
All the boys, I mean, maybe Vinny, but I had no idea till the next day that this even happened.
That it even happened.
Yeah.
So I don't want to invite all the boys because, like, you know, Danny doesn't know you guys, and I thought about women in this case because I was like, I'm not going to invite the whole crew.
It's not going to do anything for us.
Yeah, like so. It's not going to. You guys aren't nothing, right? Yeah. And it's girls. We're all girls. Like we all want to be comfortable.
And we couldn't all leave the pool party either.
Right. You know? Yeah. Exactly. Then the pool would be empty, and your friends are all there. You know why? You know,
I also probably would have said no.
No, you would have. You're like, girls, do your thing. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, I was like,
I might have went up because I was black. I was like so drunk. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
But you guys agree, like everyone's having a great time. And I actually when I was telling the girls, I was like, let's go. You guys want to do a photo shoot? Let's go. And everyone was like, yeah, let's go. Like, otherwise, like if they didn't want to go, they wouldn't have gone, you know?
Right. I mean, overall, this whole thing is the number one thing that has confused me. No one looked like no one tried to leave. Everyone was like, yeah, come out of the elevator. I'm like, not 1 second of this moment does someone look like they don't want to be there.
No, not at all. If I don't want to be somewhere, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah. I'm glued to this couch. Like, you can't convince me to go anywhere. And that if I'm like that drunk, I'm stumbling out of an elevator. Like, and you can clearly see.
No one was stumbling.
No one is stumbling. No one's like, whoa, like I need to sit down. Like when I'm that drunk, I need to take a breather and sit down. Or I'm slurring my words. I'm like moving. I'm grabbing onto people. I can read cues of when someone's fucking like, you know, like plus I don't ever want someone to feel like that. Like in fact, Danny and I have had collabs with other people and we're like, no, let's not do this. This is not right. Like this is not, you know, and you guys know too, whenever you guys do collabs, you're like, let's just take a breather. Let's try it again, rain check, you know?
Yeah.
So, but this wasn't even for me. It was just like, let's just do it because Steve's here. And Steve is pretty iconic on social media. Like he was, and he kind of like tapered off. He does do other stuff, not just OnlyFans, not just girls and stuff like that. So he's a busy man, and I was so happy that was like, yeah, let's do it. I don't care. Like,
so it was just spontaneous.
It was spontaneous.
It was all, we're here.
Not planned.
We're here. He was there as a friend, but also had his camera. Let's just go down and do this.
In fact,
you asked the girls.
They don't show it, but remember he was taking photos of all of us by the pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can we get those?
I think he had to he deleted everything that day.
That pisses me off because I looked fucking hot.
We did look hot.
I can ask, but like, yeah, I think
I hope he at least kept the ones
was so angry and upset that he
yeah.
was like, I don't want anything to do with this now, you know?
Yeah.
Which is so sad because like, that's his art, that's his work. And you know, like people were like, yeah, that's fine. He didn't not ask, you know, like you know, he's like, can I do this? Can I do that? So yeah, we're upstairs. And so prior to that, we were shooting. So they know who he is. He whips out his camera. We were shooting by the pool. You guys know that he's a photographer.
Yeah.
So they're like, we didn't know a photographer was going to be there. guys, there's a whole scene of you coming out of the elevator and the photographer is there.
I know.
You knew, and you guys are talking to him. And then
You got in the elevator with him and his camera. He was behind you too, because you came out first. So you had to look at him.
yeah, and he's not hard to miss. Like, he's one male in the whole elevator. Like, who's this guy wearing all black in the elevator? We're all wearing bikinis. Like, you know what I mean? You can pretty much spot him out in a fucking crowd, you know?
It does appear that there were many moments that if they didn't want to be a part of this
They had
scenario,
so
they
many
could
opportunities.
have just left. Like they could have just walked out of the hotel
One
room.
person.
Any of them,
Yes.
you know, and Ava saying that she didn't want to, for me, it was a little surprising hearing her say, I didn't want to confront Steph. I'm like, but that's your thing. You are
Confrontation.
Confrontation is your
Yes.
thing. So if you didn't want to be there, I just feel like you would have said that, or
You would have said
there
it.
were a lot of opportunities
Part of
from
me
what I can
thinks-
see, even watching it back, that you could have left.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks it was more Vinny annoying Ava to come back down, and she like just came up with an excuse like, oh, she won't let me.
Yeah, so we were actually in a group chat. Vinny, Ava, and I were in a group chat, and he said something. Where are you guys? I probably have it somewhere, but and I was like, "Don't worry, I got it." Like, he's like, "Okay, cool." So there was a side conversation that he was like, "Okay, Mama, cool," you know. So part of what he said was true, but also not the full truth, you know. So we're in there, and people are laughing, having a good time. I'm a raunchy, unfiltered girl, like, and a lot of women, but listen, bitches love me, okay? Because my humor, but like, you know, you don't ever see a female like me that talks the way I talk, you know, like I'm very witty, unfiltered.
You're from
and
Pennsylvania.
I'm fucking funny, okay? A lot of women will say they're funny, but I'm legitimately funny. And
You make me laugh here and there.
yeah, and like women like it. So I speak the way I speak. Danny does too. We've known each other for so long. Us three speak the same language.
Yeah.
And yes, is there a time and place? For sure. But we, unfortunately for us, we made Steve feel comfortable enough to speak our language in front of people he doesn't know, right? So that's why I take responsibility for that, because I'm like, okay, maybe he shouldn't have said X, Y, and Z. Like, there is things about a labia being talked about and smelly. Was it not true? It was facts. There's something stinky in there.
Well, also, you know, when he's like, oh, go wash your hands, go wash your hands. That's not an insult. You should wash your hands after you touch your own vagina.
Exactly.
I wash my hands after I touch
your
my
dick.
private parts. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like saying wash your hands. Like,
Why is that an insult?
I think the confusing part for me too is like 80% of that room was full of implied girls. So
Yes.
like, what exactly were you?
No, explicit.
No, you were all implied,
Oh.
girls.
Yeah.
No,
Only her and Kazumi were explicit.
Okay, who was the other? Me and
Well, let's just
Danny
say
and Kaz-
everyone, no one was undressed.
Yes,
There's also
no
that.
one was
Like,
undressed.
This was a
And-
bikini, like
and-
swimsuit. Like you were in the same outfit you were in by the pool.
if we wanted to be dicks, Steve would have been like, your vagina's not showing, and not said a word. You know what I mean? He was saying like, oh, your labia is out, like fix it. Like, you know what I mean? And Danny, you can hear it like a little undertone where Danny goes, can I fix it? Can I fix it? It's in there. And she's like, yeah, that's why she fixes it. You know what I mean? That's why she adjusts her suit. And Ava is Ava. You know, we already know her tactics and what she likes to do, and her controversy. I can't even say that fucking word.
Controversial.
Yeah, like all her shit that she's premeditated. She knows when to the right triggered moments, you know. But she likes to feed into people's ears. And after the pool party, they're sitting down, and I don't think Kazumi thought anything of that until she started, and then gears were turning, and people were like, oh.
I don't think Jade did either. You
No.
can kind of see that she is the one who initiates even talking about this, and they're just like, and then a light bulb goes in their head. And so it's like, they're just literally an echo of Ava in the situation.
Yeah, they're being-
from what I've seen. You know, I wasn't
Yeah.
there. You know, they take a jab at you and say that you're not back at the house after the pool party. But let's be honest, we weren't there either, and no one said anything about that.
No.
So,
yeah, I had my best friend from New York in town. Like we went out. We were like,
Yeah.
well, we asked. We're like, can we have this night off? So we took the night off.
So that's kind of another thing I want to ask about. You know, she kind of uses you not having an Instagram as an excuse for wanting to use them to get an Instagram following back. But out of her words herself, to me, she said, you don't get hardly any Instagram followers anymore if you tag people. She said that to me.
We all know that.
Yeah.
I
It's just not a way to grow anymore.
It's not a way to grow.
It doesn't matter who you tag or whatever. they're not going to get tons of Instagram, maybe a couple, but like not to the amount that like you used to when you
And if that was the
first came
case,
out.
Danny and I would be posting left and right because Danny has 1 million followers. Steve has 800,000 followers.
Yeah.
They don't post me at all. If that was the case, I would have already used my friends to already grow and tag left and right. I have a bunch of friends with 1 million followers. I don't need those people.
Yeah.
I was just trying to help and create some engagement. And, you know, you want to use the photos? Great. You don't want to use the photos? Don't. If my Instagram comes back, I'll ask you guys, but I never have ever posted on social media without someone's consent.
No, this is the best way to grow on Instagram now is posting reels or whatever. And if they get on the explore page or to non-followers, that is the key.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very hard to get followers from posting with someone who has a lot of followers.
So hard.
It is ridiculously hard.
Silly.
It is not even in the top 3 ways to get followers, in my opinion.
No, it's not. It's really not.
My whole thing with that
So
is
it
that
wasn't
she
really a
knew.
collab at all. It was just something fun to do.
Yeah, we're calling it a collab for the sake of, you know, the show and showing how we do content and stuff like that.
It's definitely a collab, but it was
definitely
definitely spontaneous, and
If
even
it's not a
afterwards, you
collab,
probably
then-
didn't even know. Yeah.
Why are we collaborating if we're not
We're collaborating. We're
collaborating.
collaborating, but it's not a collab. It's like,
Wait, say that again. Say it 50 more times so I can understand because I'm not understanding
I'm
what
still
that means.
trying to decipher half the shit she said on the show, honestly.
They still showed the video.
What video?
They still show the video of what happened because Ava's the one that sent it to everybody.
The video of what? Oh,
Of the
that.
labia part.
Of the labia part. Yeah, they
video-
sent
they
it to
sent it to
everybody.
everybody.
The video that they hate it, sent it to everyone, and now it's on the show.
And now it's on the show.
And
Because
there
you
it is.
made such a thing of it.
Yes, you made a thing of it. Now it's on the show. The video you didn't want to be leaked and have in someone's phone. Now, however many viewers are
The whole
have it.
thing was filmed.
Yeah. Either way, it's still filmed. Yes.
Yeah.
Either way, we have.
And now it's
tried-
never going away.
No.
So now we got next week. You can see that there's going to be some more heated discussions. So can't give anything away, but
I know.
I'm excited to see how
I'm
this
so
turns
excited.
out.
It's like
I
so-
think every one of us yell in the next 2 episodes. We do.
Yeah, we do.
couple
And I'm
times.
I have a lot of gratitude for these guys because they just they're on the right side of history for sure.
And I
But-
still feel that way after watching it back. I
Yeah.
still feel that way.
I
Yeah.
do too.
We'll have to see what they say to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
All right. Well, thank you, Steph, so much for joining.
Thanks for
As we
having me.
recapped episode 8, House of Heat, every Thursday on Tubi. So,
There's only 2 more left.
Thursday.
So,
all right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
bye.